Intelligence System Analytic Computer is activated. All ISAC systems are confirmed online. Data scanned. Downloading files.
What's up, guys? You listen to episode 141 of SITREP Radio, giving you the news and other happenings in the world of The Division. This week we've got an embargo, story and PC details, as well as the release of the first The Division comic. But first, my name is Mike, and joining me as always is my co-host, Luke.
Hello.
Hi, Luke. Hope you're okay, man?
Yeah, I'm good, dude. How are you?
I'm good now. Anyway, we hope you've had a great week, and welcome to any new listeners, should I say, of the show. Right, let's get down to some news.
State of the game.
Okay, so there was no state of the game this week, but we did get a couple of nice bits of information straight from Massive and Ubisoft themselves. First up, Epic Games posted on Twitter on Wednesday that Division 2 would be launching on the Epic Games Store in partnership with the Ubisoft Store. The official tweet reads as follows: Ubisoft and Epic will work to integrate key components of Ubisoft's Uplay and Epic's online services to provide gamers from both ecosystems with more seamless social features. Ubisoft and Epic Games Store will also partner on additional select titles to be announced during the coming year. Wow, this is a huge slam in the face of Steam, Luke.
Yeah, just a little bit. I think Steam would like everybody's go-to for games. Well, I mean, not everybody's, I guess, but they're the well-known PC gaming online sort of digital content provider, aren't they? So, you know, for Ubisoft to partner with somebody else is a big deal. But from what I've seen of Epic Games, mate, they're changing how it all works. You know, they're giving the actual providers of the games more of the slice of the pie. And then their digital platforms and whatever are changing the game. So
I think for most people, like, Steam is like the go-to because it was probably there. It was there in the forefront. Yet now you've got like Uplay, you've got EA's Origin service, which a lot of these services weren't that good to start with. But now a lot of them are, you know, they're getting better than Steam.
Yeah, they're all catching up and overtaking, aren't they, for definite?
Yeah. And,
you know, as Uplay has proven, it makes sense to, if you've got a really good title, like, for argument's sake, been playing a lot of Escape from Tarkov recently. They've got their own platform that they launched the game from. If you've got a title that will bring people to whatever platform you need it to play on, people will follow. So as long as you can keep that platform up to date and relevant, and obviously going forward, you've got things like Uplay, which you've got multiple titles behind it. You've got Division, you've got Siege, you've got all the other Uplay games. You know, and Origins, like you said, with Battlefield, there's subscription options with Origins. So there's
that's one of the things that Origin does really well. Yeah. I think for most of us that play on PC, this isn't going to really change the ballpark for where we go to get our Ubisoft games. I would suspect like a lot of people are just going to go straight to Uplay because obviously you've got the Uplay coins that you can use to activate 20% discount off other games. You know, they chuck up free Ubisoft games now and then. I think I've got like Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I still need to go back and play at some point. Probably never going to happen. But the other thing as well is like booting up that one, you know, just booting up Uplay and having the ability to play like some pretty damn awesome games like Siege, which we play a lot of, like The Division, which we play a lot of. You know, I still want to go back and play Watch Dogs 2 because I've heard it's amazing. And then obviously you've got Wildlands. I'm kind of on the fence of that. I kind of want to go back and play it, but you know, we've played it before, but that was on console, so I kind of want to see if it's a different experience. But from that point of view, for us, it's not going to really change. But I would expect for a lot of people that don't, because like people don't always agree with going to certain publishers, like direct links for their games. They don't like doing that. You know, you don't always get the the same amount of money off as you would do on Steam.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, Uplay do put a lot of deals on constantly constantly rotating and dropping the price on their games. So this is kind of like another outlet for Ubisoft to use by using Epic Games. And I would assume that they've got a pretty decent piece of software there to back it up. As a service.
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? With the popularity that we've already seen from the beta signups and the hype train that's trying to lead the station recently for Division 2. If Epic Games' software wasn't up to scratch, I think somebody would have said something way before this ever got announced. So I think Epic Games are onto a winner, especially with that tagline, that final sentence. Ubisoft and Epic Games Store will also partner on additional select titles to be announced during this coming year. We already know from leaks that there are Ubisoft titles that are unannounced still that are supposed to release in 2019, 2020. So, the future looks bright for Ubisoft and Epic Games.
Well, speaking of future, let's hope it's a Ghost Recon Future Soldier sequel. I can only hope.
Nice, dude. Nice. Smooth.
Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so the bigger, juicier news that actually dropped this week came courtesy of both Ubisoft and Engon Gaming channel over on YouTube from Hamish and Gabe. They basically dropped the mic on the PC specs for the Division 2, and having gleaned the information straight from the developer team at Massive, the video went on to say that with all the optimizations efforts the team has put into its core systems, as well as rebuilding some of them from the ground up, the team are confident that if you could run the Division 1, the idea is that the same hardware should give you the same, if not a better result for the Division 2. That sounds awesome. So if you're running the Division on a potato, don't worry, guys. We got you covered. But how many people say that? How many companies come out? Because normally it's like, look at this game. It's just come out. You're gonna have to upgrade your graphics card. You're gonna need more RAM for it. Oh shit! My CPU is not supported. It kind of, we've had a 3-4 year cycle, which is a long time in terms of PC.
Yeah,
PC gaming can change so much in that time. I think the good thing that probably has helped towards this is the fact that we haven't had a console change. We haven't had a console lifecycle change during these two games, which has probably helped a huge amount. But it also kind of goes to show we will probably be getting towards like the mid tier of some of the PC specs that they've announced for PC. For console, I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen, but it would be nice.
Yeah,
for a lot of people.
I think you're on the right lines there. The next generation of consoles they're going to have to basically be PCs, aren't they? So it's the only way to go. You're running. I think the only way that console gaming can go now is increased FPS. So to get that, obviously they're going to have to be mini PCs, and like you said, the specs for this aren't much different from Division 1, as you rightly say. And for people like me that have recently switched over to PC via a laptop, granted, but it's a pretty decent gaming laptop. I shouldn't have to upgrade anything.
No, so you shouldn't at all, and that's really cool that they've said that. It also goes to show how versatile the Snowdrop engine is, because you can. I don't know if you've seen anything running on the Snowdrop engine on the Switch, but for anybody that has a Switch and has played Mario vs. Rabbids, that's running on the Snowdrop engine, and I'm pretty sure the South Park, the Fractured Butthole is running on Snowdrop. I can't quite remember, but I'm pretty sure it is. And because obviously Ubisoft spent so much money on this versatile engine, they're going to want to use it across all their projects.
Yeah.
Now, with regards to the PC specs themselves, the main features you're going to see is an uncapped frame rate. You're going to have uncapped display resolution, so it doesn't matter what display resolution you're running at. If you want to run this thing at 480p, I would assume it's going to be there. Why you would want to do that, I don't know. Full UI and HUD customization. That is really important for me, because at the minute I play the Division, I turn off everything, including, I think at one point I even turned off the map.
Oh, what, for like photo modes and whatever else you were up to?
Yeah, I just really enjoyed running around and not having a user interface. And obviously when you switch weapons and you reload or you use certain gadgets, it pops back up again. But just having that kind of clean interface and you're just kind of looking out is really cool. We're also going to see multi-screen and widescreen support for monitors and a variable refresh rate support as well. Nice. And finally, HDR, high dynamic range, will be supported.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, that's like last week all over again. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, AMD has partnered with Ubisoft for The Division 2 and other games that will probably be coming in the near future. And The Division 2, as far as I know, will be running optimized on AMD builds. My only worry about that is how much performance, not hardware optimization, has been performed on Intel and NVIDIA products. Is that still going to be the case, or is it just the fact that they're going to go out there and go say, we've partnered with these guys, we've got like a little bit extra out of the game, like performance wise, made it smoother for the people that own AMD, because that's a hell of a change, really.
Well, I might be speaking a little bit out of turn here because I am a little bit out of my depth, but are they not the subpar sort of graphics card manufacturer nowadays? Has NVIDIA sort of gone, fuck you, AMD, look at this new 20 series we're bringing out?
I think there's going to be like a huge debate over this, and I can't wait till like the game comes out or we see a beta, because you're going to see so many people testing the game for like various builds. What's going to basically be the best machine to run this on? Is it going to be Intel and with an NVIDIA card or an AMD card? Is it going to be an AMD build or an AMD CPU with an NVIDIA graphics card? You don't know how that's going to go, but for most people, AMD are like not as good, but it depends what you want out of it. AMD at the minute seems to be, if you're a content creator and you want multiple cores to create workload, like basically speed up your workload if you're rendering and things like that, that's what AMD is there for, like depending on your budget range. Whereas Intel is better for gaming, because I'm pretty sure you get more frequency per core for your money. But that's the other reason I wanted Rob here, because I know Rob looks at this stuff all the time and he knows his shit on this. So it's a shame he's not here with us today. Unfortunately, he's had to stay on. He's on shift at the minute.
He's going to be cringing when he listens back to this, isn't he?
Yeah, probably. The only thing I will say is the PC specs detailed, right, are a little bit all over the place. Because I looked up like a couple of the CPUs, especially if you look at the 4K 60 FPS Elite. To run that, if you want to run the Division at 4K 60 FPS, right?
Yep.
They're recommending a Ryzen 7 2700X chip.
Yep.
Now, the Intel equivalent is an i9 7900X. Now, the Ryzen 7 is a 200-pound chip in the UK. The 7900 is almost 1,000 pounds.
Holy shit.
So...
yeah. Okay. I'm going to choose the AMD, thanks.
Yeah, I think most people would, but I know they've put out these PC recommendations. They've put out the minimum, which, like, the minimum's probably something that we would see on PS4 as a basic. But I would honestly just use them as a basic guideline for you, what you want at the end of the day. If you want 1440p at 60 FPS, use the information they've provided as just to kind of help find what you're looking for yourself. You know, chances are what you've already got is going to be absolutely fine. But if you are looking at upgrading, have a look around, see what feels not just this game, but other games as well. Because the chances are you're not going to just play The Division over the next couple of years.
Well, that's the other thing, isn't it? This game's been in development since the first one came out. So this one's been in development for 3 years. So, technology will have moved on since then anyway. So there's the potential that when this game launches, it's already going to be behind the curve, I guess. Because obviously a game that was in development last year is going to come out with far bigger PC requirements.
Yeah. I think what worries me is like they're saying at 4K 60 FPS to run that, you either need to have the brand new Radeon 7 graphics card or a RTX 2080 Ti. That seems a bit overkill, especially when you can probably get like a 1080 Ti that might do similar kind of things, you know?
Yeah.
But going off what Rob would say, I know Rob would be like, I wouldn't buy a GPU from AMD. He would be like, get it from NVIDIA because it's better. But obviously he hasn't tested the new Radeon 7, so I guess we'll never know.
I guess it's like anything, though. People have got their preference, haven't they? It doesn't necessarily matter if AMD or Intel are that little bit better.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with the AMD systems or you're familiar with Intel and NVIDIA, you're going to prefer that anyway, aren't you? You know, you're just going to have those rose-tinted glasses on that say, no, that's better than that anyway. So
the only good thing out of all this that I can see, right? If the Division 2 is optimized for AMD, right? In consoles, they're all AMD tech. So it doesn't matter what console you're going to be on, you should have a very similar experience. And you're probably going to have a really good experience that is going to be optimized for the hardware that you've got. And that to me is the best thing out of this, because we haven't had any console information. Chances are you're going to get HDR for console. You will probably get 4K. I'm sure you will get UI and HUD customization because it happened in the original game. Depending on what console version you've got, you're going to be locked at 1080p 30 FPS, or you're going to be at 4K 30 FPS. I don't know about Xbox if that runs at 60 FPS, but I'm pretty sure the PS4 Pro doesn't go any higher than 30 FPS. So for me personally, I'm really glad that AMD kind of are doing this, because it means we'll probably have a better experience for our console users. The only thing that worries me for PC is they've outed DirectX 11 and 12 as being one of the main features. Now, for anyone that plays The Division currently on PC, I don't expect you have DirectX 12 currently switched on, because it's not very well optimized for it and causes a lot of issues. But I think it basically causes it to crash, if I remember right, Luke.
I think I've read somewhere that if you're having problems with the game on PC, you turn DirectX off. I'm almost certain I've read that. So, yeah, obviously it's gone through a hell of a lot of optimization since the first one was ported with the new DirectXs and everything else, but yeah, that might be something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. Anyway, let us know what you think. What PC are you going to be running this on, if any, or what console are you going to be running this on? We want to know. Okay, next up. From Reddit, basically a user over there posted a link to the game.co.uk website, which is basically the UK's version of GameStop. I don't think we have GameStop over here, do we, Luke?
I don't think so.
No. It's like GameStop or Walmart, but it's literally for games. And the link was directly to the Division 2 Washington, D.C. edition. Now, does that get you a little bit intrigued, Luke? It's quite nice, isn't it? Washington, D.C. edition. Why don't we see this anywhere else?
I don't remember that option being part of the pre-orders.
No, not at all. It's probably just for console. I don't think I've seen the option available for PC.
Right.
It probably is, knowing my luck, but there we go. Now, this does come with a couple of cool things. You obviously get a sweet premium slipcase. You will get a book of lithographs containing the art of The Division 2. And you'll get some sweet digital content as well, which includes the Battle-Worn Secret Service Pack, a rare emote, which looks like a Secret Service man touching his hand to his ear, and something that really is intriguing is a M4A1 skin with exotic quality, which is quite interesting because that means exotic skins are going to be available in the game. So does that mean that's going to give us additional bonuses, or are we going to treat this like Siege?
I would go down the like Siege avenue on that.
I don't know, because we know we're going to get exotic weapons, so...
Yeah, but an exotic skin, you can't really give bonuses for a weapon skin, can you? I mean, you can, obviously, but...
I don't know. Like, I'm of two minds. I kind of want it to be an exotic skin like Siege, but then can you apply that to a weapon, like an exotic? Does that work?
I'd like to think the exotics.
You wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah,
that
you wouldn't be able to. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly where I was headed. I'd like to think that's the case, and then you can have exotic skins for all your other weapons to make them that bit more special. And the drop rate on those will be super low. And I mean, who knows? Maybe the Division's bringing out its own version of like alpha packs from Siege as well, where you get weapon skins and backpack skins and I don't know, whatever all skins they're going to bring out, turret skins or whatever the fuck they're going to bring out, but
potato skins,
the rest of them. Yeah.
What do you think the chances are of this M4A1 skin, because it's an of exotic quality, turning the standard weapon into an exotic rifle?
Ooh.
Because obviously, like, you still have to find that gun, and it might only apply at like a certain level. I'm just wondering if this is their way of giving away an exotic, but you can't literally just give it away because you're not going to be able to use it. So maybe it's only an exotic once you apply the skin, and there's like a permanent fixture. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing on this, but it's either that or something from Siege, I think.
Yeah, maybe that seems like a quite a convoluted way of doing it, but it's possible. These
can't see that. Yeah,
they're like pre-order bonuses, aren't they? So I mean, who knows how deep the rabbit hole is with all of that sort of stuff. But I'd still like to think it was more like Siege, where it is literally just an exotic weapon skin, but the possibilities are almost endless, aren't they? It could be, like you've said, an exotic weapon skin that you apply to the exotic, and then only then is it truly an exotic. Which sounds even complicated when I'm saying it out loud. But
I know. I'm going to be honest. From my experience in any game I've pre-ordered, any weapons, any gear that you were given during a pre-order, I'm sorry, it's probably useless. I did it with Destiny. We did it with the Division 1. Hey, look at all these like sweet service packs we're going to get to wear, like the ambulance backpack, the fireman backpack, and all the rest of it.
Yep. However,
doesn't mean anything.
What I would say about the Division 1 is that I think it was the police backpack that gave you like 100% extra ammo.
Yeah, well, didn't the ambulance medic back give you like, I can't talk today, ambulance backpack give you it was the paramedic. I don't know why I keep saying
there was one that let you get extra ammo, and if you took it off and put the other one on, you got the extra ammo and the extra med kits, and literally you had to do it
the paramedic
to survive
one.
In the DZ.
Yeah, but you could have like 7 med kits or something.
Yeah, but
if I remember right.
That shit was super useful for a long time until they figured out that people were doing it, and then they patched it. So, I mean, who knows what we're going to find from the pre-order bonuses this time around?
Yeah, that's just my experience. Normally.
I agree, they're usually useless.
Everyone uses the Sweet Defiler, right? And that was a pre-order bonus, right?
That's kind of the way you want it to be, though, right? You don't want the game to be pay to win via whoever pays quickest.
But I don't want useless exotics.
I don't think they'll be useless this time. I really don't. From what I've seen of people tweeting, like Frederick Thylander, the weapons guy, and other people within the dev team, they've really seemed to took a focus on, we don't want any one gun to be the standout gun of choice, i.e. the house. Like when the house came out, everybody knew that was the go-to weapon. Not even the go-to exotic, just the go-to weapon. So I think they'll do a lot more to balance the range out. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty confident that I won't be on that.
Well, I guess we'll just have to see. Anyway, alongside this was a little bit of additional information, Luke.
More?
Okay, so in the Division 2, you're going to be able to play with up to 3 friends, if you have them, in a 40-hour campaign. 40 hours. Okay. In a torn and boiling Washington, D.C., and be able to prolong your The Division 2 journey with fresh, unique, and diverse challenges. Okay, that's point 1. 40-hour campaign. That sounds awesome.
It does, but by whose definition 40 hours? Like, because I guarantee me and you play games at different speeds, let alone anybody else. So
I wouldn't be so worried about that. I would say like that would be the average playthrough time. Yeah. That wouldn't be like a speed run.
Oh, God, no.
What would worry me more about this is the fact like it's a 40-hour campaign, but most of it you have to go grind by killing lost sons in whatever sector. Do you know what I mean? How much of this is missions? How much of this is actually story based and related to a campaign? Then here's a campaign, but most of it's like progression outside of the main story.
No, I don't think they would state it was that long if it was outside of the main story missions. I think they have to be very careful when they say how long a game, quote unquote, should last. Because a game like The Division, there is no life to it. You can play it as long as you want to. Like, we're into thousands of hours on Division 1 across multiple platforms because you play the missions over and over and over and over and over again, and you play the content over and over and over again to get the best gear, to get the best weapons, to get the best skins for this and that and whatever. So, mine and yours life cycle of The Division is going to be different to every other person that's played The Division. So you have to be very careful how you stipulate what the life cycle of the game is. So I think that 40 hours will be, I'd like to say just the main missions, but maybe they include a few of the side missions.
Yeah.
But they're certainly not including stuff like, let's take Division 1, for example. They're certainly not taking into account how long it takes you to find all the voice recordings or all the echoes.
No,
all that sort of stuff.
Obviously not, but there's definitely stages when you play through the Division campaign. It's like, you play so many missions, and then you'll get to a point where you need to go off and do a little bit of grinding to get to the next level. And after just playing a game, like a single player game like Spider-Man, where that is like 30 to 40 hours long, and most of that is missions that is related to the story. There's other stuff going on, but you are kind of kept being pulled back into the main story. As long as it's like that, awesome. I'm on board.
I think my definition of what that would be, if somebody put a gun to my head right now, I would say the definition of 40 hours of gameplay would be how long it takes you to complete all the main missions, and using Division 1 as the example, unlock all the main missions and completely upgrade your base of operations. And that's it. Anything else on top of that is what you choose to do with your free time.
Well, going off that, you can get to what? You can get to level 30 in how long, Luke? What, 25 to 30 hours? And that includes grinding, and that's outside of main missions as well.
Yeah, I would argue a lot of players probably did it a bit faster than that. But yeah, let's go.
I'm just 20. Saying, like on an average.
Yeah. I'd go with that.
So if that's the case, we might actually have 15 hours of additional story and missions that have been pummeled into this game, which I just really want to sit down, day one and enjoy the story. I really do. Reading through the comic recently, I'll talk about it in a bit, but like that really does give me that hope.
Yeah.
You know?
I played the Division 1 super slow. Like did the tapes and the echoes and everything whilst I was doing the mission, so it wasn't just blast through the story, get to the end, and then go back and do this other shit. It was do it all alongside. So I was weeks into Division 1 before I finished playing up to level 30 and unlocking all the boo and everything else. And I kind of intend on doing very similar with Division 2, assuming those added extras are available in the sequel. But I put a tweet out earlier this week that my holiday time had been approved, that I was already booked in for March. So the game officially launches on the 15th. I'll be at work because I'm not taking launch day off. Saturday the 16th through to Sunday the 24th of March, I think it is. I'll just be playing Division and eating and sleeping and doing nothing else, I think.
That sounds like a bloody good plan. Okay, I'm going to go over the other points very, very quickly. The second point being, explore a large and dynamic world which evolves depending on your actions and help liberating the city with tactical interventions. I think we've seen that pretty much in the gameplay trailers.
Yep.
They're the control points. Next up is to discover a revamped PvP gameplay and a brand new Dark Zone designed to provide a fair and exciting experience to all players, regardless of their level progression. That sounds awesome. I'm not going to ask you anything about it because obviously you're under NDA. Next, take part in the never seen before endgame content and year one of free DLC. New missions, areas, and game features. That little bit at the end there, fucking perfect. New missions, new game features, and new areas.
Yeah.
Confirmation that Washington DC is going to get expanded. Confirmation that hopefully the story will get expanded from, and we won't have to wait another 3 years for that to be continued. And game features. Game features could be anything, but if we know anything from the team at Massive, they like to add game features, whether that's survival, last stand, skirmish, underground, anything like that. That to me is what it sounds like. How true that is, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I'm glad. Excuse me. I'm glad you said that. Like, how true it is, we don't know yet. But what I was going to say is, the devs are clearly listening, watching, and learning. They're taking on board that we didn't get story expansion from Division 1. Everybody was asking for story expansion for Division 1. We didn't get it. It seems like they've already confirmed that we're going to get it in Division 2. Again, remains to be seen how true that is, but that sentence that you read out is, well, it's like you said, it's perfect. It's what everybody wants from the game, isn't it?
Yeah, that for me kind of sets in stone kind of the direction that they're wanting to take the DLCs. Whether we get there depends on the launch, as we know from the Division 1.
Yeah.
Because to do 1.4 all over again, that's not really what anybody wants. But also, I would imagine how much money that costs really did affect how much content we got in the years following. And obviously the work on the Division 2.
Yeah.
But we'll never know. Okay. Now, obviously, this is all information from external sources, not from Massive. And we're all kind of sat here waiting for the Division 2 to drop some more news. We're all waiting for the Dark Zone news. We're waiting for the season pass to be announced and what's going to be behind that. Obviously, some people have some information, like waiting on the information about the pre-orders. They want a little bit more information with regards to stash space. Is that still a thing, or has that been squirreled away somewhere? We don't know. But it is included in, I think, the Gold Edition. It's in, or the Ultimate Edition, or something like that.
It's one of the top tier editions, isn't it? Like the Phoenix Edition or whatever.
Okay. So by the looks of it, official PlayStation Magazine has actually accidentally announced when the embargo date will be lifted, and we will actually start seeing some big news from the guys that went out to the media event back in December, and from publications like PlayStation Magazine, and probably we will get a state of the game giving us some big news of probably the beta and upcoming stuff that I can't think of right now.
Upcoming stuff. What I mean? I like upcoming stuff.
Well, we've got a private beta to go soon. They're probably going to announce it, though it's private. Don't quite get that. There we go. I thought we'd get an email or something. There's obviously going to be the open beta, which is probably going to be towards the end of February, I would think, by now.
Yeah.
But we don't know. Okay, so basically at the back of the December issue of PlayStation, the official PlayStation magazine, it actually has the Division front and center, and on it, on sale, 15th of January, the Division issue. Also, Luke, if you're interested, you can get yourself 4 free Anthem drink coasters.
Oh, I'm all over those Anthem drink coasters, mate. That's what I'm living for.
Anyway, the Division posted, I can't remember if not the Division, OPM UK posted this on Twitter. I know Agent OB8 Kenobi was chasing this up. The dude's a freaking hound on Twitter, man. He is chasing people up for news. He's like, where the hell is this shit? We want to hear where it is now. And I thank him because we've been getting bits and bobs of information over the past week or so. But basically, he had a reply from OPM UK after he said, what's this all about? The PlayStation magazine said it was going to release on the 15th. However, OPM magazine basically replied saying, after we went to print, Ubisoft moved the embargo on our exclusive, so the next issue will be released on the 17th of January. Luke, what day is the 17th of January? You don't even need to look.
That's next Thursday.
Yeah, that's next Thursday.
Episode 142 recording day.
Okay, so what day of the week is it?
Thursday, I just told you that.
I know, it's just double checking with you. So what normally falls on a Thursday?
State of the game.
Exactly. Is this when we're going to start seeing stuff being rolled out?
Well, a certain presenter of State of the Game tweeted out today that there will be news soon, quote unquote, TM, which stands for trademark, which I think is a piss take, but he says there's going to be news soon. Soon could be in a week when the embargoes are lifted, potentially, and when PlayStation's magazine comes out. Just saying.
I'm just going to leave it there because we don't know. We can hope, we can speculate. It'll be here when it's here. The only thing I will say is a certain marketing person from Ubisoft and Massive was basically like, I hope you liked the news with regards to the PC details because now the train's rolling. We ain't going to stop. I was like, okay.
I'll tell you what, though. You know, when I finish work next Thursday, if there's not been a State of the Game while I've been at work, I will be driving to the nearest shop and buying the PlayStation magazine to find out what the fuck they've been allowed to or not allowed to say. So, you know, keep it locked on SITREP Radio because we'll tell you next week what the fuck's happening and what isn't happening. So,
yeah, we might be the only people with access to this if it's the official UK PlayStation magazine. Okay, next up, we have a very quick discussion on the comic that got released this week. The Division Extremis Malice, issue 1, was released on, what day are we on? Wednesday, the 9th of January. And I can tell you right now, it's freaking awesome. I really enjoyed it. Luke, I know you haven't had a chance to read it.
Nope.
Obviously, you've read the synopsis.
Yes.
Synopsis of it.
Yes.
What does this comic mean to you? Do you feel like it's something you should read, or are you interested in it? Or is it just really additional to the Division game itself?
2 of 3. I'm interested in it because it's Division.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I will read it when I get around to reading it. I didn't pre-order it. I'm not going to like crawl over people who are on fire to get to it, but I will definitely read it. I'm not a big comic fan. That's why I've said what I've just said. I've never really been into comics. That's just how I grew up. Sorry. However, I do think it's... I don't think it's going to be integral to the story of the game. I think it's going to be more of a companion. So I don't think you'll learn anything in the comics that will tell you anything about the game, or that you will need to know from the comics to play the game, and vice versa. However, I think it's going to be a great companion read, or what is it, 3 editions of the comic coming out in total?
Yeah, there'll be 3 issues over January, February, March, and then come July 23rd, Dark Horse will be releasing a hardcover edition of this miniseries. So that might be when you want to pick this up.
Yeah.
You know, and I can completely get where you're coming from. I would say if you've never read a comic before, doesn't matter. You know, go pick it up. If you're interested in it, don't let that stop you. It's always good to read something, whether it's comic or in book form. You know, step away from the TV for 5 minutes, sort of thing. As for it being, what did you say, more of a guide or a companion?
Yeah,
I can completely understand that, because for anyone that does read comics or kind of follows comics, you would know that most of the Marvel films that go out there, normally a month or 2 before the film comes out, they publish like what's been happening in that film universe with the film characters that is related to the film's story before the film actually comes out. So something like Guardians of the Galaxy will have like a completely different comic based on the movie universe, opposed to the actual comic series that's running by Marvel themselves. And it's really just, like you said, a companion to get people interested that might be interested in the film, give a little bit of backstory to the characters, kind of get to know them before the film comes out. And I can kind of see this being the case here with The Division, because it's set between New York and it's set between the events of Washington, D.C., which we still don't know what's going to happen. You are meeting a couple of characters. You do see a couple of you see at least one character from The Division 1, which is kind of cool. You see a couple of areas from The Division 1. You see skills. The other thing as well is, by reading the comic, you're going to be playing the game, and you're going to have that thing where, I can't talk about that. It's spoilers, Luke. Sorry, Luke just covered his eye.
No!
Is that in reference to shaky leg person?
I'm saying nothing.
Okay. But you're basically going to play the game, I imagine, and you're going to be like, oh, it's cool. That's from the comic I read. You know, I can imagine that is the sort of thing you're going to get by reading it. And for me, anything that expands the story of The Division and the lore of The Division is fucking awesome, because I'm not huge behind the Division 1 story. It has some really good moments, but a lot of those moments for me are contained in like the stuff that you actually find in the game, like the intel, the echoes. I feel like the story's a little bit wooden. The plot's good. The cliffhanger at the end is kind of like you're done. And I know not a lot of people won't agree with me, but there are other games to do story so much better. And that's why my real hope for the sequel is for a real fulfilling story. I hope it does that, which is why 40 hours for a campaign, how much of that is padding? So if we're going to get other forms of media, like comics, we've got books coming out in the next couple of months that are going to cover this as well. It shows how much effort they're willing to put into expanding the universe of The Division and making it more interesting. My only hope is it's in the game just as much as it is in other media forms.
Yeah, I'd agree with that final statement about it being in the game as much as it is in the extra bits. Knowing how good the survival guide book was that Alex Irvine wrote for Division 1, this week I pre-ordered Broken Dawn, which is
nice,
the Alex Irvine novel for the second game, which will almost certainly have a load of lore in it that's not in the game. And obviously some stuff in it.
April Keller's in it as well, so you're getting a continuation of that story.
Exactly, yeah. So it will have lore in it that's not in the game. It will have lore in it that is in the game that, you know, obviously you compare and contrast with and say, oh, shit, that's in the game, this is in the game, and whatever. And, you know, lore hounds like me will love that. I know Tinks from Bombshell Jackets will be all over that. Deep Fried Dave, friend of the show, he'll be all over stuff like that. So That's out there. That's coming out. I think that comes out like 3 days after the game. But yeah, where the comic was concerned, it kind of fills that void, doesn't it, between what happened in New York and what's going to happen in DC, and Caleb, the agent, that's the focus of the comic, is sort of in that gap between what happens between New York and DC. So I will read all three of them. I definitely will. I wasn't desperate to read it on the day it came out.
I picked it up. I was looking forward to it, and I happened to be up when.
If I was just going to say, if I'm at liberty to tell our listeners what happened, I do believe you didn't go to bed until you'd read it. I.e., it came out on the Wednesday morning officially.
Yes, well, it came out very early in the morning, like 2 minutes past 12.
Well, technically that's Wednesday, so.
Technically it is Wednesday, which is why I managed to get a copy of the comics that early. But I was up anyway. Unfortunately, I was sorting out my kid, so I had to put him back to sleep and ended up reading the comic at the same time. So that really killed two things at once for me. But it's kind of funny if somebody had said a couple of years ago, this would have led me to reading not only a comic book and a book based on The Division, I wouldn't have believed it. Because I can't believe that in a minute, like, Luke's pre-ordered a book. When was the last time you read a book, dude?
All right, mate. Don't make me sound too stupid.
I'm not. I'm just saying, when was the last time you picked up a book?
The last time I picked up a book was when I was sat on the sun lounges in Dominican Republic. So that'll be approaching 2 years ago.
And before that?
I only read books when I'm on sun lounges.
Okay, so probably even longer. So how crazy is it to think that because of The Division, you are now going to read a book? I know that sounds like insane and probably normal to some people, but for someone that doesn't read a book, it must be like, I'm going to read this book because it's based on this thing that I fucking love.
It's crazy, it's nerdy, it's equal parts sad and exciting, if you get where I'm coming from. Because, I'm reading a book because I'm so in love with a video game. It doesn't really get much more nerdy than that, does it? So
no.
However, what I will say is, on the nerd front, I did order the book of the I forgot what the film's called now. That's going to be annoying. Jessica Chastain's poker playing movie, whatever movie that was.
Is that Miss something?
Molly's Game. I ordered the book for Molly's Game based off how good the film was.
Yeah.
So I will read that at some point as well. So that's kind of nerdy as well. It's yours and Rob's fault how nerdy I'm getting. You know that, don't you?
It's not bad. Like, books are good, man. I read a lot of books. I've read a lot of Star Wars books, which is kind of funny because last week we got called out on our YouTube video because obviously we were talking about spies. The only reference I could think of at the time was Star Wars, and we basically got told, "Hey guys, you need to get your sci-fi movie trivia down. June had spies, not Star Wars," and I was like, "Shit, maybe I was wrong," and I had to go check, and it was both of them. So I was kind of like, actually, but it's all some good fun, Anyway, yeah, go check out the comic. It's really good. That's all I can say. And for anyone that filled in the survey, what was it, January 2017? This is the first iteration of that survey asking about media and The Division expanding into other forms of medium. That's really cool. Let's see more of it. Okay, let's move on to questions. Luke, I'm going to let you take the first 3.
3 or 4?
You can take I'll take the 4th one if you want.
Okay, well,
I don't mind. Standard.
So, friend of the show, Spick Beats, aka Borry, aka Boris the Blade, aka Tinkerbell, in our lovely Bullets and Beer Discord, wants to know, seeing as the specs for The Division 2 have been released, guess how soon we'll see a Nintendo Switch version of the game announced? I mean, they are claiming it will run on integrated graphics on the PC, and we all know the Switch has a better CPU-GPU combo than most laptops. Question mark. Sarcastic question mark.
Is he saying that the Switch has a better rig than your laptop?
I mean, he might be. He has built himself a pretty beastly rig since we met him at Gamescom. But I mean, he's got all that sweet YouTube money, hasn't he? So,
all those Guitar Hero videos he was doing. I know, dude. I know. I can't see it.
I can't.
It's an online only game, and I'm not saying that you can't do it because of that, but I just honestly think the graphical capabilities, also the hard, you'd have to cut down so much to get that to run. Warframe's running on the Switch, and the open world on that is just, it's the best they've got it, and it's amazing that they've got it running, but it's like trying to play a game looking through water at sometimes. It's been downgraded that much because they have like dynamic resolution where, depending on the hardware, it will adjust the resolution, and it really fucks with your eyes. Plus, the amount of battery power that you're going to go through with the Nintendo Switch. I think I could play Warframe, and it lasts me maybe an hour, 45 minutes, because that's how intense it is on the battery for the game. And that's docked. Obviously, you could put this in docked mode. You'd have a higher frequency, and you might be able to run it. When I say frequency, I'm not about CPU frequency. But to play it on a console, you'd be fine.
Yeah,
I'm sure you'd be playing it on console anyway, Boris.
He's going to be playing it on everything he can get his hands on. I know, Boris. Question 2, we've kind of already answered, I guess. Well, not kind of. We have answered. Did the comic do anything for you, lore-wise, story-wise? Did it get you even more excited, or less, or nothing at all?
I would just answer, you're welcome.
Question 3 is not a question at all, but we love him for it. Thank you so much for everything you have done thus far, regardless of what it is or was. You 3 gents are so awesome, and I consider you family. Love you, boys. Xavier says he loves you too. For anybody who doesn't know who Xavier is Boris's young son, who we went to Gamescom with. He's an awesome little dude. We've played Siege with him. We've played Division with him. Unfortunately, he plays a lot of Fortnite, which I won't hold him against him because he's a youngster. But no, on the real though, Boris, you've been awesome to us as well, dude. So yeah, we consider you family too, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, we've had a few people stick around with us. Maybe not from the start of the podcast, but definitely for a long while, and it's really appreciated. And then obviously going out to Gamescom and catching up with you, man, was really good. And we had a good laugh out there. I couldn't have asked for a better person to, come look after us while we're out there.
I'm glad you said look after us.
Well, yeah. I think we helped look after him. Well, he definitely helped us look after Rob. Trying to think. There was another one on Facebook today, very similar to this, that was basically like, if anybody is part of the Facebook groups for the Division, it was over on the Division Communications Center Facebook group page. And it was from one of the admins, Alyssa Dawson. And she was basically like, I'm so glad you guys are still doing these. And I was like, shit, we've been doing this that long. Like, I sorted out being able to post in that Facebook group like year 1. That's maybe 100, 120, 130 episodes ago. So yeah, we've been doing this a long time. Question 4. I take it that one's for me. I will take that. Fuck off. There's not really much I can say to that apart from standard. So
it's not really a question either, is it?
It's more of a statement.
4 questions. Boris has managed to only make 2 actually questions.
Is he telling himself to fuck off, but like he wants us to tell him to fuck off?
No, he's definitely telling us 3 to fuck off. I mean,
maybe he's telling it to Rob. Rob's not here to defend himself. Why would you do that when Rob's not here? That's not really fair at all.
That's not fair at all. Come on, Tinkerbell, you're better than that.
Yeah. Come on. Peter Pan's can be pissed at you. Okay, next question comes from Bron Jones from YouTube, or Snake762. I think it's the same person, but I could be wrong. He says, hi Mike, story-wise, what will we get? Are the factions at war with each other or are some aligned? How important are the civilians to the story's progression? The Hunters, are they now a fully formed faction? Are they mainly in the DZ? Aaron Keener, how big is his army of rogue agents? Does he have the vaccine? Has he developed a further virus? How will the lore be told this time round? I don't know. There's so many questions to that one question. What am I going to do?
That one question turned into 9 questions.
Story-wise, what will we get? I'm going to go straight off the bat. Hopefully a good one. Are the factions at war with each other or are some aligned? I'm pretty sure some are aligned in the Division 1. Or at least from a story point of view, even if we didn't find them. They definitely were in Westside Piers.
Westside Piers was the alignment.
Technically, Aaron Keener united them, so maybe we'll see that happen again. How important are the civilians to the story's progression? I don't know. I haven't played the game with regards to anything to do with that, but I mean, it might be a case of we have to go around, help civilians, and that's going to be the extra stuff you have to do to grind to get up to end game. Luke, any thoughts or redacted?
Redacted.
Okay. The Hunters, are they now a fully formed faction and are they mainly in the DZ? Luke?
Redacted.
Okay. Aaron Keener, how big is his army of rogue agents? Does he have a vaccine and has he developed a further virus? I'm going to go to Luke on this one.
Redacted.
Okay. I will say I do hope that story is expanded upon from the first game and it's a little bit more standout. How will the lore be told this time round? I'm guessing we're going to see more intel and cutscenes. I'm really hoping the story itself or main campaign will be fleshed out through cutscenes and in-game scenes as well.
Was it last week we were talking about cutscenes from the ESRB ratings? Yeah.
I mean, we know that's going to happen, don't we?
I think cutscenes, I think intel, be it echoes, be it phone recordings, be it fucking drones, whatever little tidbits they decide to put like hidden around the map, I think there's going to be some of those. We've already mentioned the Alex Irvine novel that's coming out. That's going to be full of lore. And who knows what's coming in the next 2 editions of the comic. There might be some lore sprinkled in there as well. So I think it's going to be multifaceted, multi-platformed like it was with the first one. I just hope it ties together a bit better this time around than it did in the first one.
Also, there's another unannounced project from James Swallow. I'm pretty sure he's working on the Division novel. I would assume that's coming out later on in the year, but it's not been announced. Or we know that he actually helped write some of the lore for the factions. This actually came from himself, and he's got another project which he can't talk about just yet. So I'm kind of putting 2 and 2 together. I could be completely wrong on that, but I would say the lore is being told this time through various forms, not just in game. And go check out the other forms of media as well; they're really cool. LS1L1 Uzi asks, question 1, what is the favorite story mission for each member of the SITREP team and what makes it their favorite? I'm going to go, I don't know about story mission, but the mission I do like probably the most and probably the one I've played the most and probably the one I played from the start would be, is it the Madison Square mission?
Yeah.
Is it Madison? Yeah.
No, Madison Field Hospital.
Madison Field Hospital. I forget the name of it. That is probably my favorite. Luke?
I don't know about favorite story mission. My favorite incursion by any stretch of the imagination is Dragon's Nest. I don't know if I've really got a favorite story mission. I've got a favorite legendary mission. That's Amherst. I think that's really, really good fun on legendary. But yeah,
nice man. Okay, how much of the Division's beauty and tense atmosphere are owed to the cold and snowy environment of the New York winter? 100% all of it. The atmosphere in that game is what makes people want to continually play it. You know, walking around the dark zone. like survival wouldn't be what it is without the cold and the snowy environment. You know, I know you can replicate that slightly in Washington DC. You can have heat. There's probably going to be flooding. You might have to cool down and go into shade instead, Luke.
Yeah, you see, that's my problem with this question. It's a really good question. I like the question. My problem is every answer that I can give you makes me sad that you wouldn't be able to replicate in Division 2, and I want Division 2 to be bigger, better, and more.
Unless we go back, baby.
So, yes, Division 1's beauty and atmosphere did owe a lot to the cold and snowy environment, particularly survival, as Mike rightly says. However, I think I'm not alone in saying that survival is one of, if not the best portions of content of the game. Therefore, I definitely want it back for Division 2 in one shape, form, or another. Therefore, if you're not going to have snow in Division 2, which we're not because it's summertime in DC, does that mean Survival 2.0 is going to be shit?
No, it could be the fact that the virus plays more a hand in
could be
getting to wherever you need to get to as quick as possible. You might have X amount of time to get there because of the virus and because of the heat. It might be a case that in certain areas of the map, the heat's causing the virus to, contract quicker. Or
one thing I will say really quick is you mentioned that the cold had something to do with the dark zone. I could not disagree with you more on that one. It's the darkness that does the dark zone.
Yeah,
definitely. The fact that most times there are times in the dark zone you're in there in the day, I get that, but most of the time you're in the dark zone, it's dark. It's part of its name from that. Therefore, you can do that regardless of the weather. So,
I was gonna say, I remember the first time we played the beta, me and Rob, and we go into the dark zone, and it's just snow and dark, and you're like, "Holy shit!" It was just really tense, and that was the atmosphere. Now, not so much because we've all played it to death. Thank you very much for the question, there, man. Snake762 or Bron Jones.
You really do hope it's the same person, don't you?
If not, I'm going to get slapped. My apologies, guys. He basically says, hi guys, survival is very popular. Which episode of the DLCs do you think it will drop in? The cold in survival was the weather you had to combat. What type of weather do you think we will have this time? And could there even be multiple weather types? For example, torrents of rain, fog, or a man-made hazard like VX gas clouds. The VX gas clouds, I'm assuming that's similar to like what we've seen in the artwork, where there's like a tanker on its side and there's green gas around it. Like, it could very well be that. I would say that's, if we're going to get it, it's further down the road. It won't be at launch. It won't be within the first couple of months of launch. And I know a lot of people are going to be expecting that. If you look at the time frame for the Division 1 and when we actually got survival for that, it was a good, 9 months later? 9 months later? I know it was revealed earlier than that, but actually launching of it.
It was the second of the 3 season pass DLCs, wasn't it? So it was after 1.4?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
But definitely. We probably would have had it round 1.4, technically. So it could be 6 months. 6 months to a year out for all we know.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. I think it will be back in one shape or another. I'd like to see multiple weather types, or let's change that slightly. So not potentially multiple weather types, but maybe multiple things that you have to battle against. So if they're going to make survival where it's, let's say for argument's sake, you're battling infection and the heat and potentially a disease of some description, you've got to take different types of medicine, as well as obviously keep yourself hydrated. Let's try and make survival 2.0 that bit more difficult than the first one. Because, if you've got medicine, you're set, really. So,
and can we please have solo modes for it, group modes, and just have it last man standing? That's all I want. That would make that game. That would make that game perfect.
Last man
standing. I don't care about the rest of it. You can change it. You could change the original one. Just have one extraction done.
I like that. What I mean, I do like that. That takes it BR route, doesn't it? But
it's BR, but without having to do the rest of it a BR.
Yeah, I'm not sure you'll get that, but I like where your head's at.
It would keep more people playing it.
Yeah,
the fact
I agree.
The game's over after one person's got there.
That's what I was trying to. That's what I was trying to think of in my head just then. It's like the fact that literally only one person can win it. I think would bring a lot of people back, so that you can post on your social medias, or you can state to your friends like, "Yes, I finally won a game of survival."
I mean, I'll be terrible at it because for me, survival is key to the word. Survive as long as you can.
You'd be better at it than Rob.
Yeah. I'm not even going to go. He's not here to defend himself. Weapons. New exotics are coming. Will they be models of weapons coming, or different furniture on current types? What do you want as exotic talents? Please don't let Captain Alki say bottle opener under the barrel attachment. I seem to remember him saying that a long time ago.
I think he said that too.
He has said that. And
if he hasn't, that's definitely something he should have said.
If he has, you're a long-term listener, and we thank you for still listening. Will there be models of weapons coming, or different furniture on current types? I'm going to guess that they're probably new assets that they've probably built from the ground up. Just going off how far the Division engine has been pushed, and it looks like they've gone back to the drawing board on like mechanics. Why wouldn't you go back as far as the weapons themselves? They even sound different.
Yeah.
You know, you listen to the sound effects between one of the assault rifles in the Division 1 and the Division 2, and they've got a hell of a thud behind them in the sequel. So I'm really looking forward to that. As for exotic talents, nothing as crazy as we've had in the Division 1. I still kind of want it grounded and only to last like several shots. And maybe use like special ammo for it as well. Luke?
When you say special ammo, do you mean like the specialization type scenario that's going on with the ammo?
Yeah, it's kind of a shit thing though if we do that, because then you have main weapons that, maybe that wouldn't work as well. Because obviously you're going to want like exotic assault rifles and shotguns and things like that, but you don't want to rely on scarce ammo.
Yeah. If they made ammo for exotics, perhaps a mix in scarcity between how it's going to be for your specialization weapon and how it's going to be for your regular weapons, it might just help keep exotics that little bit more special. If you can't use them all the time, the times that you can use them would make them feel that bit better, wouldn't it? But I don't know whether they'd get away with that. It might seem like they'd kind of lock in exotics behind RNG, within RNG. I agree with you. I think they will be their own special variants of weapons as opposed to just new furniture.
I don't know. I mean, when I think about it, we've seen a couple of things rehashed before. So, I mean, maybe it's not so far out to say that it's going to be completely new weapons, but maybe we'll have one or two. I mean, I'm going to be the one to do it. Destiny has a lot of reskins. I just hope it's not that case.
I thought we were going to get away with it this week.
I know. I got to do Rob justice. He's not here this week. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this show. Well done, Luke. We made it.
Thank you. Well done yourself.
Welcome. Thank you very much to everyone who sent a question this week. We appreciate it, and thank you to anyone that sent feedback over on Discord or on the YouTube or whatever device you listen to this podcast on. It's really appreciated. Thank you very much. You can find us over at SITREP Radio on Twitter, on Facebook, and YouTube, as well as our personal accounts. Please send any questions or feedback to the show via sitrepradio@gmail.com, or you can find us over on the Discord. The link should be in the show notes. We want to hear your thoughts on the news and topics that we've discussed today. So please be sure to leave a comment and join the discussion in any of those places.
Please leave a review of the show using the podcast app of your choice. We really do enjoy reading all of them, and we do read all of them. The feedback is excellent, and at the end of the day, it does actually help other people to find our show. If you listen all the way to the very end of the show, you'll hear all the juicy details about the other awesome shows that are available on the Mash Those Buttons network. Thank you.
We do live stream as often as we can, so if you are interested in dropping by and saying hello and chatting with us whilst we play The Division 2 when it launches, and some other games like Siege, you can find us all over at twitch.tv/SITREP Radio, and Borry the Blade, aka Tinkerbell, will probably be there. I thought you were going to say something, Luke. No? Sure?
Positive.
Okay. We have been SITREP Radio, minus Rob, but he'll be back next week, hopefully. Thank you very much for listening, agents, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You're listening to a Mash Those Buttons podcast. Visit mashthosebuttons.com for a full podcast schedule.
Cargo secured. Extraction complete.